risk, right?
They don't accept us with it. They never have.
Hello, we're Mexican.
No, we are Mexican-American, and they don't like Mexican-American.
That's all the same. Go on,
And they can be
Assange.
mean, and they can tear us apart over there. Selena's
right.
Spanish is...
What about my Spanish? I've been singing in Spanish for 10 years. It's perfect.
Singing, yes, but when you speak it a little funny. And down there, you gotta speak perfectly, or the press will eat you up and spit you out alive. I've seen them do it.
Overreacting as usual.
Dad, the music will speak for itself, Dad.
Listen, being Mexican-American is tough. Anglos jump all over you if you don't speak English perfectly. Mexicans jump all over you if you don't speak Spanish perfectly. We gotta be twice as perfect as anybody else. Why are you laughing? What's so funny?
Nothing.
I'm serious.
I know
Our
you're
family
serious,
has
Dad.
been here for centuries, and yet they treat us as if we just swam across the Rio Grande. I mean, we gotta know about John Wayne and Pedro Infante. We gotta know about Frank Sinatra and Agustin Lara. We gotta know about Oprah and Christina. Anglo food is too bland, and yet when we go to Mexico, we get the runs. Now that, to me, is embarrassing.
No, Dad!
Japanese Americans, Italian Americans, German Americans, their homeland is on the other side of the ocean. Ours is right next door, right over there. And we gotta prove to the Mexicans how Mexican we are, and we gotta prove to the Americans how American we are. We gotta be more Mexican than the Mexicans and more American than the Americans, both at the same time. It's exhausting.
Selena, first I'll give you guys a background. It's the father Abraham giving his two children a lesson on how hard it is growing up being Mexican American, which we've spoken about a lot in class, but he pretty much says you have to know both sides of cultures. So you have to know people from, like, oh, he says something about knowing Oprah and Christina. So you have to be so much more informed about both cultures, and it's hard because you never actually truly feel accepted and like you are enough to either one. So the father goes on and says that. My response to the video is that I can completely relate. I grew up in LA, but I also grew up in the high desert. So I felt both sides of that. Growing up in Los Angeles, I always felt like I was not Hispanic enough for my family or my friends. And then when I came to the high desert, I never felt accepted. The Hispanics, you could say the cliques, always said that I was the valley girl, the white girl. So I wasn't accepted by them. And then I started being friends with the white girls, and then my family was like, you're such a whitewash, you only have white girlfriends, which in my opinion never mattered. I just had friends. And as I grew up, I actually became more in tune with my culture for many reasons. Part of my relationship, part of who I was. I just started liking Spanish music and stuff like that. So I guess like you can say I felt more in tune with my culture, but even that came at a cost because I then got terms like, oh, you're so paisa, you're so Mexican, oh, Priscilla, you're so Mexican, or even like at my job, most of you guys know I work at In-N-Out, and it's always like, oh, you're so Mexican, or Priscilla will take the order, and everybody makes like a big deal, which sometimes it's like, oh yeah, they respect the culture, but then other times it's more so that people are just looking down on it, and like, oh yeah, Priscilla got it, or Priscilla will talk to them because we can't understand what they're saying. So growing up Hispanic obviously has been hard. You're never enough for the American culture. You always are like, you're Mexican. And then for your Hispanic family, your Mexican family, it's always like, oh, like you're the white girl. Oh, you don't speak Spanish right. Or, oh, we can't understand you. So that's my response to the video. And then also I want to connect it to a quote that we incorporated in our paper, which is the one, Pelones y Matones. And it says, most criminalized youth tend to be U.S.-born Latinos caught between two cultures without being incorporated into either, too far removed from one and not yet accepted by the other. That obviously completely intertwines with the Selena clip and what I said about my own personal experience, because you're never in what he's saying about most criminalized youth tend to be U.S.-born Latinos is because they're so confused that they end up being criminals because they're pulling away from their culture and what they know and being pushed into another culture that they don't know. So because of that, it's like a cause and effect and a chain reaction about what the father says in the movie Selena, which is you can't be Mexican enough for the Mexicans and you have to be more American than the Americans, and it's just exhausting. And so for some people, they actually end up succumbing to these types of criminal acts.
I remember when I first discovered what black was, and then people kept calling people black. I remember like black, oh he's black, oh she's black. I'm like, black? They're not black, they're brown. They're dark brown, that don't make no sense.
Being proud of my African roots is something that I don't take lightly, and I embrace because it's part of who I am.
Nosotros queremos un mundo que decimos que tenemos un latino unidos, pero con el mismo tiempo Tenemos que terminar la discriminación entre nosotros los latinos.
Estamos como estamos porque somos racistas entre nosotros mismos, entre nuestra propia gente.
Dark skin is beautiful and it has melanin in it and it doesn't age. We hate ourselves so much that we really don't understand how beautiful we are.
Que yo por mi color o por lo que tú crees, tú no me vas a parar, que yo voy a triunfar. En lo que yo voy a hacer, yo voy a triunfar.
Embrace the beauty that is you because most people are trying to look like you. They're going to get their hair curled, they're going to get tans, they're getting injections in their butts and in their lips. They want to look like you. So don't hate you because everybody wants to look like you.
Hi, my name is Monica Zelaya, and today we'll be talking to you about how the logic of coloniality affects Latino Americans, and not only Latino Americans, but multi-cultured Latinos. As for myself, I'm Mexican Salvadorian American, so I myself struggle with always trying to identify myself in a certain category for it to be Salvadorian or Mexican or American. And today we live in a society that all we see is social media and TV, and on these medias it always shows that to be beautiful, you have to be light-skinned, you have to be blonde, you have to have straight hair, you have to look a certain way. Not only do we have the history of our ancestors that actually went through the colonizations, but again, it's still being drilled into our heads in our day-to-day lives. If it's not for us watching Netflix or being on social media and watching these supermodels or verified Instagram famous people, and we think we see this and we want to be like that, and if we don't look like that, then that means we're not beautiful, which that doesn't mean that. It's through the logic of coloniality that is put this in our head, that if we want to be anything in the world, if we want to be beautiful, if we want to be powerful, we have to strive to be white. And that's not the case. That's not, because for years I've been ashamed of being dark-skinned. I was ashamed of being Salvadorian because they say they're less of Hispanics because they're ghetto, they're loud, they're crazy, or whatever reason. But now I'm proud to be Mexican Salvadorian American because that makes me different. That makes me unique. I'm not like everybody else. I'm not this light-skinned girl, but yet I'm still beautiful, and nobody can tell me I'm not, because I'm not white or I don't have blonde hair or I don't have straight hair. That doesn't mean anything. Everybody in everybody's eyes, beauty has a different definition, and to me, I am beautiful.